There was a time when Battlefield was one of the biggest names in gaming. It wasn't just a game, it was a whole experience. People loved it so much that it stood side by side with Call of Duty, the king of shooters. Battlefield was confident, popular, and fun. Players spent hours on it, loved the big battles, the tanks, the planes, and the teamwork. But over time, Battlefield seemed to lose some of its spark. New games came out, technology changed, and other games started taking players' attention. Now, Electronic Arts, or EA, the company that makes Battlefield, really wants to bring back that glory days feeling. They want Battlefield 6 to be the game that puts the series back on top, right next to giants like Fortnite and Call of Duty. But here's the thing, this is not gonna be easy. Reports say EA is spending over $400 million on this next game. That's a lot of money. Probably more than most games ever cost to make. And why so much? Because EA hopes that Battlefield 6 can attract over 100 million players. To put that in perspective, only about 40 games in history have reached that number. And Call of Duty Warzone is just barely on that list at the very bottom. Right now, we don't even know the official name of the game, but it is expected to come out before the end of the current financial year. The few videos and leaked test footage we've seen so far have made fans excited. They like what they see, so that's a good sign. But a recent report from Ars Technica has painted a different picture behind the scenes. It says that EA's pressure to make Battlefield 6 a huge success is causing some serious problems. The budget has grown a lot, and the people making the game are feeling the heat. They're working long hours, and some are so tired they had to take time off because of burnout. Ugh. Burnout means when people get very tired and stressed from working too hard for too long. It can affect their health, their mood, and their ability to do their job well. The developers working on Battlefield 6 have said they have never seen this level of burnout on other big games before. Imagine working on a project that costs hundreds of millions of dollars and everyone expects it to be a blockbuster hit. That's a lot of pressure. EA's expectation of 100 million players is very ambitious. To reach that, Battlefield 6 would have to do better than any game in the series so far, including Battlefield 1, which was a huge success. One way the game might try to get more players is by including a free-to-play mode. Free-to-play means anyone can download and play the game without paying money up front. Usually, these modes include things like Battle Royale, where many players fight until only one is left standing. Games like Fortnite became very popular because of this mode. So EA hopes this could help Battlefield 6 bring in more players. However, even with free-to-play, getting 100 million players is a very high goal. Might be too high. Many developers working on the game are worried about this target. The pressure to meet the deadline, which is reportedly before the end of March, makes things even more difficult. If the game is rushed, it might not be as good as it could be. And if the game isn't great, players might not want to play it. This could make the whole big budget investment a failure. So what's the solution? Well, maybe EA needs to give the developers more time to finish the game properly. Or maybe the company should set more realistic goals about how many players the game can attract. Because if the expectations are too high, the developers might keep burning out and the game might not succeed. It could become a cautionary tale about how big companies sometimes put too much pressure on their teams to make a hit, and it ends up backfiring. It's important to remember that making a game is not just about money. It's about creativity, hard work, and passion. When teams are stressed and exhausted, it's hard to make a great game. Players notice when a game feels rushed or broken. So hopefully EA will listen to the developers and make the right choices. Otherwise, Battlefield 6 might be another missed chance to shine. Battlefield used to stand toe-to-toe with Call of Duty, but EA's latest push with Battlefield 6, backed by a massive $400 million budget in hopes to hit 100 million players, is setting some unrealistic expectations. The game, expected before March, includes free-to-play modes to attract more fans, but the pressure is causing serious burnout among developers. Without more time or realistic goals, this big comeback might turn into a big failure. Surely you wouldn't want that. Remember, you wouldn't want that. A big game failing because of pressure and poor planning. It's exciting to look forward to Battlefield 6. But it's also important to be realistic and kind to the people making the game. Thanks for reading all the way here. If you like hearing about game news and insider info, stick around for more updates. And don't forget, behind every big game is a team of real people working hard, sometimes too hard, to make something great. Let's hope Battlefield 6 can live up to the hype without burning out its creators.